You gotta lively up yourself and don't say no. You gotta lively up yourself because I said so. It's only fitting that as we celebrate Reggae Month, this first Friday show of the month should come to you from the Bob Marley Museum, home of the late great reggae icon. I'm Audrey Williams, and I'm inviting you to get up, stand up, and tune in as we take you through the pages of another Jamaica magazine.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, February 2. The country's move to promote a more efficient use of energy resources has been bolstered with grant funding of approximately $10 million. The funding has been provided by the European Union Caribbean Investment Facility under the Energy Management and Efficiency Non-Reimbursable Financing Operation Agreement. This funding augments a previous loan of $30 million from the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, towards the country's energy program. The IDB will act as administrator of the grant. Speaking at yesterday's signing ceremony, Finance Minister Audley Shaw said the money would free up public funds and reduce government's bills and oil imports.
Helping the government of Jamaica to further reduce debt and create the fiscal space for productive spending, also contributing to greenhouse gas emissions reduction. Particularly, this project will support the specific objective of reducing electricity consumption within government facilities.
7 public hospitals are to immediately benefit from the fund through the retrofitting of buildings to minimize their use of oil-based energy. The European Commission's Director General, Stefano Manservisi, praised the government's energy management program, saying the project's objectives were intact and achievable.
In terms of measurable reduction of the dependence, or in any case, contributing to reducing the dependence from fossil energy and sources of Jamaica, can mitigate the volatile oil prices, and therefore is a step forward that we have to change radically and quickly, our way of consuming energy.
Members of the Senate have approved the Emergency Powers Continuance Resolution 2018, which will extend the state of public emergency in St. James until May 2. All 15 members of the Senate who were present at yesterday's sitting voted unanimously in favor of the motion. 6 members were absent. On Tuesday, the Emergency Powers Continuance Resolution 2018 was approved in the House of Representatives. The state of public emergency was declared in the parish on January 18 by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Kamina Johnson-Smith, says more time is necessary not only to reduce the risk of flare-ups at the end of the state of emergency, but to build intelligence and address both the perpetrators and facilitators of crime.
In this regard, Mr. President, the voice of the communities, the voice of the wives, the mothers, the girlfriends, the friends, the relatives who know where the guns are hidden, who know that we want to remind them that they can call 311. We want to remind them that they can call 311. The calls are not answered in Jamaica. They are secure. They are confidential.
The state of public emergency has resulted in the detention of 527 persons and the seizure of 12 firearms and approximately 225 rounds of ammunition. Among the persons detained are 12 wanted men connected to serious crimes, including murder and shooting. In the meantime, the government will be providing identification cards for persons detained during the state of public emergency who are in need of one. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the IDs would be offered free of cost to the detainees.
They can get a TRN, they can get their NIS number, they can get, if they choose, their voter's ID, And I believe we have assisted with passports.
The Prime Minister said that upon their release, the state would be able to properly identify the individuals and engage them in upskilling programs.
Those that we have in detention, let us not just use detention as a means of punishment. Let us also try to rehabilitate. Because it's a message that we are sending to them that when they go back to their community, they don't have to see the state as evil, but the state as trying to help them.
New Acting Chief Justice Brian Sykes has identified 3 areas of priority focus to modernize and improve Jamaica's justice system. Pointing to 2 areas under the control of the judiciary, he says steps must be taken to improve the management of court mechanisms and stressed the need for personal efficiency from members of the judiciary.
Managing stress effectively, diet, exercise are all important components of personal efficiency.
Justice Sykes says the third component would require continued capital investment from the executive, particularly in technology, to expedite how quickly cases are dispensed with. He says this is needed to replace the outdated practice of judges carrying home heavy case files, introduce remote hearings, and reduce instances of paper files being misplaced.
And so this is one of the significant contributors to delays, because whenever the documents are not there, then the case can't be heard and it is pushed back for some further time. And so with an electronic filing system, then that will go a far way in reducing that kind of event.
Justice Sykes was speaking at King's House on Thursday at his swearing-in ceremony to replace Justice Zayla McCullough, who retired on January 31. And finally, the Financial Investigations Division, FID, is to become an independent government department. The department now falls under the Finance Ministry. It is to be given greater autonomy and independence, similar to what is being contemplated for the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA.
Also decided that a portion of the civil recovery proceeds obtained by the agency can be used directly by them to fund projects within the FID that will now allow them to build capacity and meet their obligations.
Finance Minister Audley Shaw made the announcement on Wednesday during FID's 2-day conference, which was held under the theme, Taking the Profit Out of Crime, What Does It Take? FID was established in December 2002 and is mandated to investigate and heighten public awareness about financial crimes and their impact on society. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Oh God, I really wish I could retire right now. It's high time I start my own business.
Well, honey, don't you think you should apply to the early retirement program? Look how long we are talking about that.
You know, you're right.
The SERP is for eligible government employees between 50 and 59 years old. Speak with your HR department or see the press for details. Deadline is February 16. Apply now.
Jamaica, the birthplace of reggae. Okay, so you knew that already. But what else do you know about the creation of this authentically Jamaican musical genre and its global impact?
If reggae can ever be edged to a set place, then 13 Brentford Road is its home. It was here at Studio One in 1968 that Rocksteady briefly went back 20 years, married the folk rhythms of Mento, and gave birth to reggae.
Up to 8, 6, dun, then reggae.
The guitar led the reggae music orchestra, and the bass maintained the melodic patterns in the background. It is interesting to note that even though the fusion would change the course of local music history forever, it was to be one of its most celebrated strokes of luck.
No, I didn't really want to give out this piece of information, but since we're at it, I won't be mean. Clement Dad brought a piece of machinery to the studio for about a year. It was sitting there. And no one knew exactly what to do with it. And so they hooked it up one day and decided to implement it. And they discovered it was a tape delay. And so they hooked it into the machine and they started doing it into the recording. So when they put the guitar sound through the tape delay, it comes back saying, chick, 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 chick. The rest of studios hearing this recording out, they thought it was the guitar making that and just copied that, and that was the birth of reggae music.
Jackie Mitu invited Larry Marshall to try out on the new sound. The experiment yielded Nanny Goat and Baby Tell Me Why. But it was Toots and the Maytals, Do the Reggae, that christened the music form forever. Reggae would deliver dance crowds from the sluggish rocksteady beat. The people needed a change in pace. Reggae upped the tempo. Reggae turned up the heat on some of the social and economic challenges that the people were facing. It premiered as the voice of the people. Reggae was a potent messenger for the Rastafari philosophy, which single-handedly cemented the music form as a cornerstone of Jamaican culture. Bob Marley was one of them who took to the music and the teachings. Marley had been around from the ska era. In 1961, he and a couple of his brethren, Peter Tosh and Bunny Livingston, formed the Rude Boys, which later became known as the Wailers. The teachings were often put to music in either Sir Coxson's Studio One or Duke Reid's Treasure Isle recording studios. The recording sessions overflowed with free-spiritedness and an abundance of talent. Hits were made by ear.
Studio One happens to be the station.
Studio One is widely regarded as the mecca of reggae music.
Studio One is called the University of Reggae Music. And as an artist, if you didn't work your way through that university, you would not be a complete artist.
This is the Motown of the Caribbean. Everything started right here, so right now you have to give a lot of respect to Mr. Dodd because he had a very good ear for music.
The local music industry learned the rudiments of music distribution as early as the 1940s, when English fans showed a willingness to buy its R&B covers. When American rhythm and blues were hard to come by, sound system owners Duke Reid and Sir Coxsone Dodd got artists like Stanley Motto to make their own. With the advent of a global village through the economic, social, and political phenomenon called globalization, it is now beyond one's mental facets, where this world-shaking cultural mystique known to humanity as simply reggae will take Jamaica, land we love. Whithersoever it goes, we go.
Are you feeling the vibe? I'm sure you are. And later on in the show, we'll tell you how the music will be celebrated this month. But first, a few important things.
Whether you drive on 2 wheels or 4, there's one thing I can guarantee you. That is that you know someone that's gonna need blood one day, or you might just be that someone. So here's the deal. The blood we have can only supply about 50% of the need. That's why with the craziness that's happening on the roads, we need you to join the One Love, One Blood campaign. The life you save just might be your own.
We Jamaicans are a hard-working set of people, and we at the JIS know this. That's why after a hard day's work, you can simply pop onto our website, jis.gov.jm, and be in the know with government news and information. JIS, your information hub.
A corporate body established to see to the safety of shipping, training, certification and welfare of seafarers. the Maritime Authority of Jamaica.
The seas call them home, home, where the northeast trade winds dance through the sounds of reggae, where the cockpit country shadows the world's fastest man, the vanguard of the Caribbean. The seas call them home, home to Jamaica. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean and the largest English-speaking island state, with the seventh largest natural harbor in the world, essential for a robust shipping industry. Jamaica also has the second largest transshipment hub in the Caribbean. These developments are driven by a commitment to honor the international maritime conventions that Jamaica has signed, establishing a maturing partnership with the International Maritime Organization, IMO. This 40-year partnership brings consistent advocacy for the maritime interests of Jamaica, the Caribbean and small island developing states, and the least developed countries. The seas carry them on, shaping an expansive and progressive maritime vision, fueling a structure and infrastructure of container, cruise and bulk cargo ports, maritime administration and ship registration, maritime education and training. This vision led to the expansion and upgrading of port facilities island-wide to capitalize on additional trade and larger ships accessing services through the newly expanded Panama Canal. The expansion positions Kingston as one of the region's major ports. The Port of Kingston is also equipped to offer a range of maritime logistical services, for example, operating as the regional hub for vehicles delivered to 23 destinations in Central America and the Caribbean. Through German Ship Repair Services Jamaica, the island also offers wet dock repair services and plans full ship repairs with a floating dry dock. Jamaica's commitment to a greener maritime environment guides its fuel diversification with the use of clean fuels, including natural gas. The prevention of maritime pollution is also integral in policy initiatives. As part of this thrust, Jamaica is now acceded to the Ballast Water Management Convention 2004 and is also the lead partnering country in the IMO's Global Ballast Partnerships Program. Bunkering is another key element of Jamaica's position as a major shipping center. We supply bunkers not only for vessels calling at Jamaican ports, including cruise ships, but also for those transiting across the wider Caribbean. Falmouth, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio and Kingston, 5 cruise shipping ports, with the Falmouth Pier being purpose-built for the largest cruise ships in the world. These major cruise ports offer a full range of cruise passenger facilities and services. Awarded the world's leading cruise destination, Jamaica's unique attractions, diverse tourism and numerous recreational and cultural activities are equal sources of attraction for the creme de la creme of the seas, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship and other major cruise lines. The seas sends them out. Seafarers and shipping staff trained in Jamaica for international service are key to Jamaica's success as a maritime state. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, is the sole IMO-recognized maritime training institution in the English-speaking Caribbean for the training of officers. The CMU is now poised to satisfy the region's demands in the expanding maritime and logistics sectors with the opening of 5 satellite campuses. Through partnership with the Technical Cooperation Division of the IMO, Jamaica helps countries in the region meet their obligations under the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. Jamaica has also chaired for 10 years at the IMO, the organ responsible for the international rules for standards of training for seafarers. Jamaica is committed to reducing substandard shipping in the Caribbean. To meet this objective, the island has hosted the Secretariat of the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control, CMOU, since 2004. In addition, Jamaica is host to the International Seabed Authority. 25 states now have permanent missions to support the regulation and control of all mineral-related activities of the authority. Partnering with the IMO Program of Integration for Women in the Maritime Sector, Jamaica has helped to mobilize maritime women in the region and strengthened their contribution to the safety, security, and environmental protection of the maritime industry. Jamaica has also hosted the inaugural Regional Women in Maritime Association WEMAC conference. Its executive is led by a cohort of strong female leaders, including its first president, a Jamaican. The seas carry them through. Jamaica's long-standing advantages, highly developed shipping expertise, and a skilled and educated workforce has seen our maritime sector blossom into an invaluable resource for the Caribbean and the region. A maritime state, a maritime home, bridging the IMO with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Let's get together and feel alright.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are a productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
God knows how much I've tried, the truth I cannot hide, to keep you satisfied. The true love I now exist is the love I can't resist, so jam by my side. Ooh, yeah.
It's all about peace, love, reggae for February 2018. Here are some of the activities lined up for the month-long celebration.
We truly believe that Reggae Month is a national treasure. We believe that Reggae Month is something so special that people from all around the world will fly to Jamaica in February, all around the island, for Reggae Month activities, like a pilgrimage, like Mecca, because this is the home of reggae.
This brainchild of the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, more rhythmically called JARIA, celebrates its 11th staging this year.
Our theme for Reggae Month 2018 is Peace, Love, Reggae. And this is important. With everything that's going on in the world today, with everything that's going on in Jamaica today, reggae can be the healing of the nation, reggae can be the healing of the world.
Some of the activities during the month are free to the public, even though it will be costly to stage the events, which are mostly held at private venues, predominantly in the corporate area. So the Tourism Ministry, realizing the global pull factor of the event, is back on board as a sponsor, with $15 million to the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the TEF.
The synergy between tourism and reggae doesn't need any explanation. As an international brand, reggae is louder than any beach, than any waterfall, than any river, than any mountain that we have here in Jamaica. So here it is that we have an industry that relies on telling people overseas about us.
I want to highlight a few important activities that are happening during Reggae Month. One of which is the hosting by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport and the Mayor's Office, the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, of the UNESCO Creative Cities Kingston. Here in Kingston, we're hosting all the music cities from February 14 to 19. So all the music cities as part of the UNESCO network will be here in Kingston celebrating the 6 genres of music that have made Kingston famous. I want to also highlight the Bob Marley lecture that will be happening on February 16. I want to talk about the Valentine edition that is a collaboration between Jaria and the Gregory Isaacs Foundation. So that's Red Rose for Gregory on the 14th of February. The Icons of Reggae concert being sponsored jointly by Jaria, the Industry Association, the Ministry of Tourism, and the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport on the 18th of February in downtown Kingston. And that concert will feature Dennis Brown as an icon of reggae. One of the things that as government we always are saddened by is the passing of our musicians and our talent in the entertainment industry. Between September 1, 2016 and September 1, 2017, 18 musicians and entertainers died. The ministry, along with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, as well as with the Administrator General's Department, will be hosting a series on estate planning, wills and trusts, and so on. And finally, the minister will host an industry reception on the night of the 28th.
And Reggae Month popular staples return.
Through events such as Trenchtown Festival, Reggae Wednesdays, the Bob Marley Annual Lecture, Sound System Explosion, and the Groundation Series, which this year focuses on Marcus Garvey's Freedom Sounds, the message of peace, sustainable earth practices, and their connection to reggae music are echoed. Given the global environment of unrest and wars across the globe, the social impact of music and entertainment should not be overlooked.
If those activities are still not to your fancy, Reggae Month holds more. Dub poetry sessions, a public speaking competition, lectures, a reggae pasta party, and the Jaria Honor Awards.
This is about keeping the music and preserving the legacy. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Give thanks.
Reggae is one of Jamaica's greatest cultural creations. It has unearthed many talented individuals, locally and internationally. A rich cultural heritage embedded in our souls, reggae has given us an identity on the international landscape. Reggae is religion. It's a reflection of our realities and makes us feel irie. Reggae knows no face, no language, no age. Reggae knows no boundaries. As we enjoy it, let's also capitalize on reggae to help make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thanks for spending time with us. The proverb for today is, you make your bed hard, you have to lay down on it hard. What does that mean? It means we have to take responsibility for our actions. What we sow, we will surely reap. Remember, you can stay up to date with the latest government information. You may join us online at jis.gov.jm or any of our social media platforms. There will be another Jamaica magazine tomorrow on this very station, same place, same time. So see you then. Until next time, I'm Audrey Williams. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.